Hey, what's up, everybody? Kaijulu here.
And Sega Sean.
And welcome to Zone 24 of the Super Game Strikers podcast, the official podcast of
Game Strikers.
And we have a special returning guest today, PandaMare.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, you're back.
And,
I'm back.
Yeah, her last appearance was back in the beginning of Season 2.
The premiere.
The premiere when we did our Resident Evil podcast.
Where have you been?
Out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We don't get out. We stay in the same room and wait every week to record this.
True, you guys do.
And today we have a very special podcast to do because, of course, last week when me and Sean just finished our most recent podcast, Zone 23, Sean looked at his phone and he's like, "Oh, crap, Lou." I'm like, "What is it, Sega Sean?" He's like, "Today is the 25th. Well, last week was the 25th anniversary of the Super Nintendo entertainment system.
How could we miss?
And yeah, I'm like, you know what? How about this? Next week we'll make up for it by doing a whole podcast dedicated to the SNES, and so thus we're having right now a 25th anniversary special.
Because there's no other video game news, really. There really isn't. There isn't that much.
But yeah, let's jump right into it. The Super Nintendo, released and known in Japan as the Super Famicom, was released in 1990, and then was released in North America in 1991. This console, it was Nintendo's second console release, as well as a big step for Nintendo, as it was Nintendo's jump from 8-bit to 16-bit gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And a very, very heated rivalry too during the console wars.
Yeah.
As this was like right in the middle of the heated war between Sega and Nintendo. A lot of history came from there. We had the Super Nintendo compete against several consoles, but mainly the Sega Genesis, and it was very heated. It was very close. Sega had some advantages, and they were fighting tooth and nail. Like apparently, the Genesis, especially in terms of advertisement, I read some funny things saying that Sega tried really hard in their advertisements because they wanted to show Sega as being more adult, more for adults.
Definitely more aggressive.
And that it was more cooler and it was more edgier compared to it. And you can see the differences. Like, for example, Mortal Kombat, that was in Genesis, they had the whole blood.
Yep.
While the Nintendo one didn't, they took that out. And another advantage that the Genesis had at the time was that it actually had a much larger library than the NES. The SNES.
Yeah.
And but still, at the end of that tooth and nail battle, the SNES came out on top, being the best-selling Nintendo, the best-selling game console at the time. And even too, it was so big and so popular that, even when during the end of its life cycle, when even big game titles like Donkey Kong Country made its appearance, the SNES was still for a short while able to even compete against next generation consoles, such as the Sony PlayStation and the Sega Saturn.
Yep.
So that is really good.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's like, the PS2 still being around to compete against the Xbox 360 or the Nintendo Wii.
It was, though, actually. Yeah, technically true.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of effective it was, but
150 million units sold for that.
Yeah, so...
Or,
all that shovelware in the later years, so...
Yeah. But, this right here, more of a history lesson here. And also, too, the SNES demonstrated... one of the big advantages that it had was that it demonstrated a system called Mode 7 3D rendering.
Yes.
Which had the capability that it gave like more of these 3D renderings for games, such as SimCity and Gradius 3, as well as, I believe, F-Zero.
And Star Fox 2, I think, right?
F-Zero, Star Fox, and... another title. Oh my god. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But right now, a brief... we'll just get down to you guys and ask you some questions. Because, for me, I never grew up with the SNES. I grew up with the Genesis, and then came to PlayStation. So I was in the opposite end of the spectrum. While you guys, I believe you guys grew up with the Super Nintendo. Sega Sean, I remember as you said, the SNES was your first game system.
First system.
So for the both of you guys, this question: tell us about your history with the SNES. Or, I'm going to call it the Super Nintendo, so you guys can call it Famicom, SNES,
I say SNES all the time, so yeah.
I like calling Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about your history with the system.
Okay, do you want to go first or me?
You can go first.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, it was at the time when I got the system. It was a complete surprise. I honestly don't even remember asking for it. Yeah, it just, my mom just showed up with it one day. She's like, here. Just plopped it down. I'm like, what is this? She's like, well, it's a video game system and stuff. I'm like, oh, like the Atari, because I used to play Atari with my mom. That was her system. And she's like, here's Super Mario World and Super Mario World 2, which was... Well, I think, Super Mario World was packaged, right, man?
Yeah, it was, I read, it was bundled with it. Which was also, even though as good as a game it was... That was why I consider it a bestseller, because it was bundled with it.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like Wii Sports.
It's Wii Sports.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
So.
And
I believe it was 20 million.
Yeah.
Sold.
I'm not surprised.
Number one, I think, best selling.
Yeah, didn't they sell it separately too? I think so.
I think.
Yeah.
After the fact, I think.
As a bestseller package, but it was that and Super Mario World 2. And Pac-Man 2, The Great Adventures or something like that, which was like a point-and-click game. And I chose Super Mario World 2 over Super Mario World first. So my very first game, which was Yoshi's Island. It's called Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. That's the first game I played. I didn't choose Mario World first. So I didn't know back then. It was like, just pop in one of these cartridges. And I did, and I absolutely loved it. The colors, the graphics, the sound... everything. I got it late into the system's lifespan, though, because Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, that came late. That came way later after Donkey Kong Country, because some people know or whatever, with Shigeru Miyamoto, Shiggy himself, after Donkey Kong Country's success, they wanted Shiggy, when he proposed a new Yoshi game, they wanted him to do it in the same style, graphically, as Yoshi's Island, because that was superior at the time, the 3D graphic-looking aspect. And Shiggy's like, no, I'm gonna do the complete opposite, and that's why it looks like crayon drawings and stuff. But it's still a very unique style.
Drawing.
It does look like it though, and I absolutely loved it. Mario World as well. I just didn't play video games that much, so I don't have a huge history with it.
This was before too. You played Sega games.
Oh yeah, no. Like I mentioned before,
Sonic and you ever
I never even
Sega
knew.
games,
I just knew Sonic as a cartoon still at that point. And yeah, my only game.
So in hindsight,
yeah,
I played Sonic way before you.
Oh yeah, no, you did.
Like the first one was Genesis. One of my first games was Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Mm-hmm.
So because I remember me and my brother played 2 players.
Did it get bundled with the Genesis? Your
Yes,
Genesis?
because
okay.
I remember my box always came with the cover, and
Yeah.
I had him at the cover of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Too, and I remember too because I always called him Sega instead of Sonic. I always called him Sega the Hedgehog.
Well, literally Sega Sonic. So. Yeah, I mean...
Because when they always go, Sega, I'm like, yeah, the blue guy, Sega.
Little, it's like your brother's like, stop it! You're going to be Tails and like it. So, but, yeah, I mean, Tiny Toons, Buster Bust Loose, what a name. That's one of the best platformers I've ever played in my life. No, I'm not joking, though. That's a really good game.
I've never heard of this one.
There was a Sega Genesis version. I don't think Buster Bust Loose. I think it was...
Bust Loose.
I think it was something with Treasure Island or something. Or
I'm picturing Buster Baxter from Arthur.
Oh, no. That one for sure. Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World. The Pac-Man was also good. Pac-Man 2, The Great Adventures. See, I honestly don't remember that much.
Do you still have these games to this day?
Well, I have them in box now and stuff.
Oh,
because
okay.
Unfortunately, back in the day, my mom gave it away at a garage sale or something. Yeah. And I was like, I didn't care at that point. I was like, whatever. But then later on, I was like, hey, and I never let her forget about it. I'm like, after I get every single game that I owned, including more, I'm like, I got them back. I got them back. They're in box now, too. She's like, whatever. But that's about it for me with the Super Nintendo, to be honest. That's about it for me.
How much, like, at a Loco retro video game store, how much would a Super Nintendo be nowadays?
Well, I've discovered over the years that, yeah, it depends on the size of the cartridge. Back in the day with the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, if it had like those advertising like Mode 7 or 64 meg carts, they costed more money. 70 even. Like it would get pretty expensive.
Because when it came out back in the day, wasn't it priced at $200 or
the Super Nintendo or the games? Well, I was talking about the games.
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, it was more expensive than the Genesis. I remember that was another big edge they had. They're like,
I remember I read about that. Yeah, because they said the Sega 2 they were much cheaper.
Yeah.
In the price wars as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was really tooth and nail, and Sega was
they were very aggressive. Nintendo had never seen anything
Sega
like
was letting them have it.
Yeah.
Nintendo was under the ropes sweating a bit.
Flash processing and everything like that. Mode 7. All that stuff, but Toy Story. I remember playing too on the Super Nintendo, but yeah,
I had the Genesis version. So.
Yeah, I prefer the Genesis version. It has more to it in music wise.
Did you have Mortal Kombat?
No.
Oh, okay.
Remember, no, I couldn't play mature games like that.
But the Nintendo version didn't have the blood, so I thought
they didn't know. They didn't know it. I just remember. Yeah, that's about it. No. Oh, I had a Simpsons game, I think. I don't remember that one.
That must have been good.
And if it was, oh no, that was on the Genesis. I remember because my next door neighbor had a Genesis, and when I would go over there, they would watch me while my mom was away or something. I would play The Simpsons. I forgot what game. I actually liked it. It was pretty funny. But anyway, after that, I kind of just brushed away from video games until the N64 and the Sega Dreamcast, and that's for another podcast. So yeah,
all right, cool. That's a huge history there. And now PandaMare, Sean had a really big story and rich history with his SNES. Could you match up to it? Let us hear your side.
Doubt it. No.
Well, I just always remember having an SNES. An NES, whatever. I just always remember video games in my life. So my nanny, she's the one that started me on video games. With Zelda, and she'd play Dr. Mario on the NES all the time. It was either that or Tetris. And it was, back and forth. Even my uncle would play Dr. Mario. He loved Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario, man.
I don't know why. And he just loved puzzle stuff.
Well, he's popping pills now, so.
That uncle.
Not in a bad way, medical way.
But yeah, when I started getting older, I started to move over to the SNES, and I always remember having, Super Mario All-Stars. I'd always play that. I'd always play Tetris Attack. That's the one with Yoshi, but it's not really Tetris. But it's a puzzle game, but it's a Yoshi puzzle game.
Do we have that in box?
Yes, I think we do.
All right, we better.
Did I buy it?
I don't know.
You know what? I don't think I...
Do you have it in box, Lou?
I don't think I have that one. And then, of course, Yoshi's Island. We had that when it first came out. I had Yoshi Safari, but I didn't have the scope to play it.
Oh.
So, I don't know.
Really? They must have bought it, yeah.
They must have bought it separately. I really don't remember, to
the
be
only
honest.
Mario shooting game.
Yeah, so it's weird. But, and then, of course, Zelda, Link to the Past. That one was... My nanny would play
I got a lot to say about Link to the Past later on, so
my
we'll
nanny
hear
would
more
play
from
that
you
one
about
every
that.
day. Every single day we'd play
as
that
well
one.
as Ocarina.
Oh yeah,
Ocarina.
that one too. But
Yeah.
and what else did I really play a lot? Oh, Vegas Stakes, of course, because we were big casino nuts. We loved Vegas Stakes. I loved that one. I just loved how the people looked in there. How silly it sounded.
I actually read about that recently. Apparently, it has a very deep story mode, or whatever. Like, you can win big money and stuff. It was different from Caesar's Palace, which was another very popular game.
Is it? Yeah. Is this a rare game?
No,
I don't think so.
Because I remember, you can see it in our C2E2 video if you want to see Sega Sean. Because I remember in C2E2 we're looking at the retro games. you know, we were getting Rayman and stuff.
Yeah.
When we saw that glass case of all those super expensive ass games, underneath the Ninja Turtles one, that was like $650.
Yeah.
Underneath it was like this casino game. It was like super expensive. I don't know.
Do you remember if it was Vegas Stakes?
I don't know.
Or,
So I'm just saying, if you want to check it later on, it's
yeah,
like, just
we'll have
pause
to.
it. It's like right there.
Because that intrigued me.
But it
though.
was like $400. That casino.
Oh no.
That might be like a full one or something.
Might be. Yeah.
Because we did buy one in box recently.
Oh, we
Remember?
do. Yeah.
We do have it in box now, but that's just because I really love that game so much. But I don't know why. It was truly different than Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, I hear Caesar's Palace just could not compare, apparently.
All you did was walk around back and forth to slot machines and the blackjack table. It was really
just like
boring.
real life, though.
But no, Vegas Stakes, we're going to have to play it one day because it like starts up with real cool and all that.
I was interested after reading about that.
But yeah, I just always remember playing video games when I was younger. Either I was watching or I was playing.
What about Donkey Kong Country, though? The big juggernaut.
Oh,
I mean...
That came later on
when
I got
really?
a little older, so...
On the Super Nintendo, or was it... Oh, okay.
Super Nintendo,
Oh, yeah, don't worry. That's going to get mentioned as well. I got stuff to say.
We had 1 and 2, and that's it. I played 3 later on at my cousin's house. And he had Spider-Man, the Carnage one.
Oh, Carnage,
Maximum Carnage.
Maximum Carnage.
The red cartridge and all that. I remember that all the time, too. That was so good. I missed that one. But, yeah, that's... pretty much. I mean, I can't really go back that far because I don't remember everything.
with Donkey Kong Country, though, I mean, which one did you prefer? The second one?
Oh, definitely the first one.
Oh, the first one.
That's
okay.
my favorite.
How come? Because the second one's really hard? Well, they're all hard, but...
Well, they're all hard, but the second one, it just didn't catch me as much because it was... Is it the second one that's Diddy?
Yeah, Diddy and Dixie.
Diddy's Conquest.
Yeah.
Conquest.
My favorite is Donkey Kong himself, so that's who I'd always play as.
Oh, okay.
Is that the game, too, with the Donkey Kong rap?
No, that's N64.
No.
Donkey Kong.
That's N64 that has that one.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So, but yeah. Tetris Attack. Oh, God, I want to play
Tetris is getting a movie.
Oh,
What do you think about that?
3! Trilogy!
A Tetris trilogy.
I don't even...
G claims it's because he likes it. So,
I do good. All right. Also, too, more from the history. I read up too that the reason why the Super Nintendo also had huge success back in the day, or what's one of the reasons why it did so well over in the console wars against like Sega and whatnot, was because the console had a lot of huge backing and support from big-name third-party companies at the time, and a lot of big-name third-party companies backed it, like Capcom and Konami, back in the day when they were good. Not the train wreck it is today. Tecmo, Square, another one, I heard of the name, I think I'm pronouncing it right, it's Koei, K-O-E-I.
I think so, yeah.
Koei and Enix. Which I have a question about. Square and Enix were 2 different companies?
I believe so, and then they combined
They combined and it's called Square Enix.
Yeah.
Because I know back in the day it was called Square. Or was it, I also heard wasn't it called Square Soft as well?
Squaresoft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or Square for short. And so they came together and became Square Enix?
Yeah,
Okay,
basically, yeah, no, if it's one thing that the SNES is known for, it's their RPGs. They, with Final Fantasy... which I think skipped a number, didn't they, or something?
I'm going to mention
Oh,
it too,
okay. I won't ruin much more. But
No.
That, Lufia...
I did my research.
Well, that's good. Lufia, Final Fantasy, Mario RPG, Super Mario RPG. They were known for it. Oh, Chrono Trigger, too. Earthbound.
Yeah.
We'll get into it, but yeah,
it's
it's one thing they're known for, it's that.
All right. Well, I guess right now, since we already heard the history, and you guys can skip over me because I played Sega and PlayStation, so I was that guy.
We have played some Super Nintendo games recently since you've been getting into Nintendo more, like Kirby.
Yeah.
The third one.
Like 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Kirby's Dream Land 3, as well as the just recently purchased Super Mario RPG.
Oh, there you go.
Legend of 7 Stars. And as well, for guys to check out the classics, they're also, and SNES titles available in the Wii U eShop, and I also believe in the new Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah,
right?
you need to have a new one
because they're
now.
able to handle
apparently
some Super Nintendo games and stuff. Well, that thing can handle friggin' Xenoblade Chronicles.
yeah.
And also, not to be sidetracked, just gonna say it now. Last week on my PS3, I purchased a Final Fantasy VII, and I started playing it.
Oh.
And when I was checking it out, mind you, my PS3, like, it has a lot of room. It has 500 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And as it has 500 gigabytes, the game itself, Final Fantasy VII, which I shouldn't be surprised because it's a large game, to be able to hold that game on my PS3, Final Fantasy VII is 1 gigabyte.
Oh, wow.
1 gigabyte. So I know I still have plenty of room versus 500, but imagine 1/500th of my gigabytes is for holding Final Fantasy VII.
Really?
Yeah. 1 gigabyte out of my 500.
Oh, well, that's not that much.
I'm just saying.
Compared to games
like
today,
everything else that I have in there is just millibytes, and but still, I'm just saying, like, literally 1 gigabyte is
well, last generation they knew how to combine in memory and stuff. Like you got nothing.
is able to store Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the Super Nintendo. Let's get right into the meat of it then, by talking about certain titles that I have here listed, classic titles and some of the greatest games ever made. We have Super Mario World, which was, as we say, a launch title for the game, as it came with the bundle, of course, with the Super Nintendo, as well as others. Well, this Super Mario World, it was the 4th Mario game in the franchise. Right, the 4th Mario game?
Well, if you're counting spin-offs or not, I mean...
Oh, okay.
Wait, what did you say the 4th one was?
It says it's the...
Mario World?
This is the 4th. Super Mario World is the 4th game.
Well, in the main...
In the series.
In the main series, like the main stories
and
stuff. Yeah.
And over 20 million copies apparently sold worldwide. As well as other launch titles for this included F-Zero and Pilot Wings.
Yeah.
And that's the other game I wanted to mention. Pilot Wings was also one of those big games that really showed off the
3D
the Mode
capabilities.
7 3D rendering capabilities and stuff, along with F-Zero.
Yeah, you're flying down. It's all like 3D and stuff. It's cool.
And have you played, because I know you played Super Mario World, you know, that came inside it out. Have you played Pilot Wings in the original F-Zero?
I have not played Pilot Wings, but I have, I do have Pilot Wings, but I have not played, I haven't played that, but I did play F-Zero. I have it here right in box, so I tried it out, and it's very fast. So it's pretty hard, too.
As well as other 3D rendering games that were big at the time was SimCity. And Gradius 3. Now, was SimCity like the original Sims game, or
I never looked into it. I've been wondering that myself. Like, is that the same type of deal and stuff? I don't know if it is or not.
And have you ever heard of the Gradius series?
I have heard of it. I just never played it. Never dabbled into that.
And also another, back to the console wars between Sega and Nintendo. One thing, too, that Sega and Nintendo were kind of having a tug of war with was trying to get the rights to Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And because Street Fighter 2 at the time came out for the arcade, and they were fighting with Sega to see who gets to have it first. Right after the arcade, but at the end, Nintendo won, having the Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo being the first to convert it into it being called Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition. And obviously, do you have that?
I don't have it in box, but I do have it.
Okay.
I also have the Genesis version, thanks to you and stuff. Because it came out later. Because that was actually a big deal. You know, Capcom was strictly with Nintendo.
Didn't you give it to Retro Nick?
No, I have it.
Oh, because I remember the last time
he got his own.
I remember the last time we were at Retro Nick's house. He had like the Street Fighter thing. He was like, "That was yours, you know."
But I have it.
I don't remember.
I don't know, but
because I remember you gave him Real Monsters.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, did you give him Street Fighter?
No, I mean, I could have sworn I do have it still, but if I don't, then I'll take it back. No, but anyway, but yeah, I mean, it was a big deal with Capcom going to Sega because Sega kept on approaching Capcom saying, hey, can you help us out here and stuff? Because Capcom was a big company and stuff.
Another one of the big 30-party supporters.
And Capcom didn't want to ruin their relationship with Nintendo, so then finally they gave in, and they brought Mega Man to the Sega Genesis as well, but only in Europe. The only way Mega Man was available, which was the Mega Man Wily Wars, the only way it was available was through the Sega Online thing or whatever, where you could, I don't know how it works, the Sega Net, where you could only get it online, and it's a lot different buying games online back in the day. Once you turn it off, it goes away. You have to buy it. Well, no, it's a subscription service, but still, all your data goes away. Gotta re-download it.
And, also, here's a list here of some other big-name Super NES titles. I'm just gonna say, if you either have heard of it or played it in your guys' time. Secret of Mana.
I had that.
She had
you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never did.
Yeah.
It was RPG, right?
Yeah, another great RPG apparently.
Yeah, I heard, and like a lot of these rare and expensive.
Oh, very.
So that's why they were like, because these games are rare, so if you have these in your attic, and they're in great condition.
Yeah.
Mine got ruined in the flood, so.
I remember we had Secret of Mana, Mega Man X.
I don't
that
have
other Mega
it.
Man series.
I'll get it eventually, but I don't know about it in box.
So Mega Man X started first on the Super Nintendo, or was it in other systems as well?
Just Super Nintendo, and then it moved to the Sega Saturn and PlayStation.
Because I was going to say, because as soon as you mentioned Mega Man, I was like, we got Mega Man X.
Yeah, Mega Man X.
Mega Man! Motherfucking Mega Man!
I think the first 3 were on Super Nintendo.
First 3
X2,
Mega Man.
X3.
Because I got X4 for PlayStation.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no.
Which is that infamous voice acting.
Yeah, and then they had Mega Man 7 on the Super Nintendo as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Another familiar one for Sega Sean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. I knew it!
The music, man, the music.
Oh, yeah.
Konami at its finest.
Is a big fan of the soundtrack.
Konami at its finest. Right now they're not doing so good.
Hideo with the teacup.
Yeah.
I played that after school all the time when I was in daycare.
I see you as a big turtle gamer, PandaMare. I just
she's not, I'm very upset with you.
I played the game a lot just because I liked beating people up.
Yeah, throwing them around and throwing them at the screen.
Yeah.
I started listening to the soundtrack recently.
Come on, you're about to do it. You know it. You're like,
I'm like...
Oh, that soundtrack is the best. One of the best of the 90s.
And, so it's fucking expensive
No. Oh, no,
the day you get it, I'm playing it.
You know it, man.
You're gonna be like, I want it in box. I'm like, fuck you. I rip it open.
I probably would get it in box, though.
Here's a super rare one that Sega Shaw mentioned earlier. Killer Instinct.
I have it.
I hear... this is probably gonna sound, noobish of me. Forgive me. I heard of it. I keep hearing the name all the time.
Yeah, especially
I don't know
now
a thing
because the
about
new
it.
one is out on Xbox One.
Yeah,
they Rare.
A new one.
Yeah, Rare.
After all these years.
Yeah, Rare actually did something. So from their original franchise.
I'm like, no Banjo.
No.
No Killer Instinct.
Yeah, Xbox One wants a fighter, so they have that exclusive. And
is it M-rated?
I'd say so.
The title says it's of Killer Instinct.
It stars a very colorful cast.
Sounds
of
very bloody too. For Nintendo.
It's pretty bloody. Not as bad as Mortal Kombat though. Mortal Kombat is pretty much the most grossest, I guess you could say, most violent,
gruesome,
twosome. But I have not played.
Out.
I've not played the original, but I do have it. I've never had the chance to play it.
Okay. Earthworm Jim.
I played it. Yeah. On the Virtual Console, actually, I never had. I don't have it physically. That's a lot of money. So
heard of it, never played it.
Yeah, and this was what confuzzled me. Final Fantasy III. It was known for being one of the greatest RPGs at the time, but I think in North America the name got changed to Final Fantasy VI, but in Japan it was called 3.
I think
I don't know. I had like 2 different titles.
I don't know.
To some it's called 3, others it's called 6.
See, I'm
like Final Fantasy, make up your mind.
I know. I have not. I'm not really into Final Fantasy, so I don't know. But I do know there's a name switch up somewhere. So yeah.
No, I'm like, so you skipped ahead 3 times.
Why not?
I don't know. You Final Fantasy fans out there probably know more about it than us. So
Yeah.
I've only played 7 so far. So. And 15 coming out in November.
There you go.
Star Fox. That's all.
Who? No.
The original Star Fox.
I played it on an emulator. I'm sorry. I've emulated it, but what about you? You've had it. Come on.
I didn't play it that much. I didn't get into Star Fox till Star Fox 64, but we did have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have it.
Did anybody of your family play it that much or no? No, okay.
It was just one of those games.
They said that was a game that pushed the system to its limits as well.
One of the very first 3D experiences.
Polygons.
It isn't just a game about planes being flown by talking animals. So
amputated leg animals.
It was much more than that.
I like how they talk, though.
We got Star Fox. Super Metroid.
Don't talk shit about that. Nobody's.
I know. I won't.
We'll lose everybody.
I keep hearing that game was ahead of its time, and really, really big title. I think it was the 3rd Metroid game in the series, or the 4th one.
I think if not the 3rd, then the 2nd. I don't know because
better than Federation Force.
Oh, no. Well, I heard Federation Force is alright, but. Haters will say it's Photoshop.
I saw the video of Reggie.
Yeah.
They're like zoomed in on it with the 3DS.
Yeah, the Galaxy one.
I'm like, Reggie, stop. It's not going to make it look any better.
Oh, side news. New 3DS color coming out. So, there you go. Galaxy color.
Galaxy color. Pretty.
Not Metroid. Sorry, Metroid fans. Oh, I'm sorry.
You can pretend it's Metroid. It's Galaxy looking.
Oh, but, yeah, no, I never played it. How about you?
No, I've never played it.
Oh. Sorry. Don't kill us.
Earthbound.
Now she is.
Yeah. Me and Nani used to play that a lot. She
Do
loved
tell.
Earthbound.
Did she beat it?
Oh, yeah.
Which also was one of the recent titles that came to the eShop as well.
Yeah.
And
I have it on Virtual Console. I have dabbled a little. but I have not gotten far because real life situations.
No one dares talk shit about that.
I mean, if you start it up like I did or whatever for the first time, I was like, you feel it. You feel like there's something going on here that I need to get into. So
Ness is the main character of the story.
Along with his... Yeah, he is the main...
Because I see a lot of kid characters in this story.
Well, yeah, the 3 other characters. Yeah.
Was Lucas in it?
No, Lucas is in the 3rd one.
The 3rd one.
Which didn't come here yet.
How many are there?
There are 3.
3 Earthbounds.
Yeah. Or Mother. Get it right! No.
I was going to say, is it Earthbound Mother or Earthbound?
No. Earthbound is in North America.
I always heard it was called Earthbound Mother.
No, Earthbound is in America. Japan is Mother. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Another title that came into the eShop, as we talked about earlier, Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars.
That's her again.
And this came out during the end of the system's life cycle, or towards the end of it. It came out very late, but what a way to go! What a way, I don't know.
I think
bring out a big game.
Did you mention? Are you going to mention Kirby Superstar at all, or
briefly?
Okay, because I was going to say I think that is the last Nintendo first-party title made for the system. I think it is.
It is. Okay.
I'm pretty sure because Kirby always comes at the end. They're like, push the pink puff ball out, But yeah.
And that one I'm getting started on. I'm playing a little bit of it as Sean and I have played it. Fighting Bowser on top of the little chandelier, and you got to break the chain.
Yeah.
And he falls right down.
What about you? You played it?
Oh yeah, me and my cousin used to play. I used to watch him play it. I didn't really play it myself because at first I had a hard time getting into RPGs like that, but it was different seeing Mario with different characters and stuff, and them talking and stuff. absolutely loved it, just never got really into playing.
And also, wasn't this the first game I heard where Bowser and Mario actually teamed up?
Yeah.
For the very first time.
And it's also, like, it's really interesting to see them.
Because I remember they talked, they're like, Bowser's your ally in this game.
It's really funny to think that back in the day, like, how big it was to see Mushroom Kingdom, interact with each other and stuff. You never really seen that, just Mario jumping on enemies. Yeah. And now you got Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and stuff, all those games where they do that all the time.
Right, yeah.
It's still pretty mind-blowing, but...
It set you up for that and Paper Mario, which is one of my favorite RPG series. So
that'll be for another time, though.
Yeah,
that'll be for the GameCube and N64.
Yeah, N64. That's when Super Mario.
Chrono Trigger.
No, I never played it.
Big name I hear a lot as well.
It's shit.
Then we have Donkey Kong Country. Like I said, and they said that, Donkey Kong Country really helped establish, for a small period of time, how great the graphics can be, and how it even stood up to the next generation consoles like PlayStation and Saturn, and as well. And then came Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, where I actually hear a lot of people prefer that one over the first one.
A lot of people do.
And it's even... apparently arguably known as the greatest graphics in the Super Nintendo console.
I'd say so for what it is.
The greatest graphics.
It does have really good backgrounds in it. So.
Yeah, very, very.
I've seen
advanced.
gameplay and stuff.
If you ever look up any development videos on Donkey Kong Country, they're really interesting because their offices and stuff, when they were making the game, the computers would be frying really hot. Like, they had to, like, open the windows and stuff and everything because their computers would overheat from processing these graphics for its time.
Kong pushed them to the limit.
Yeah, really. So, yeah.
Oh, man, and Super Mario Kart.
Well,
which I believe is the very first Mario Kart. And as well, I think it is the second highest selling, right behind Super Mario World.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Selling is 8 million copies.
Wow.
And it was what started the kart racing game.
Yeah, like
for all future
everybody
Mario Kart,
afterwards,
for all future Mario Kart titles, as well as the emulators of kart racing games or racing games.
Racing and
Mod Nation.
Yeah, who knows what the world would have been like without this game starting at all? So yeah. I never. You played it more.
Oh yeah, God, I love Super Mario Kart.
Yeah, no, I never gave it the chance it deserves because I've played it on emulators and stuff. I do have it in box right here, but it's like, I don't know. I have to get used to the controls more. It's really hard to turn to me. Get used to it. Yeah, it's really hard to get used to the turning in the game. For me, I have to give it more of a chance, but it's still a great game.
And this was only a 2-player.
Yeah,
2-player,
Yeah, so.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, save the best for last, PandaMare, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Oh yeah.
Which was the third Zelda title in the series, and once again, considered by many, because I keep hearing it's Ocarina, but people say too. This is considered by many as this being the greatest Zelda game of all time. And, but I always, and this is not only, once again, not only the greatest Zelda games of all time, but one of the greatest games of all, the greatest game of all time, the greatest. And I always hear, Ocarina is the greatest game of all time, and Ocarina is the greatest Zelda game. I'm like, make up your mind, Zelda fans. You got Breath of the Wild coming, man.
Watch out now,
And so, Mary, what is the greatest?
Between Ocarina.
Link to the Past. And I remember, too, just another sidetrack here, because former WWE superstar Cody Rhodes, who's a big gamer, he's also a big Zelda fan because his boots always had the Triforce symbol on them. He even said that he stated that his favorite game of all time is A Link to the Past, and he plays through the whole game yearly. yearly. Every single year he plays through the whole game.
It's a game you got to revisit every time.
And they said, during autograph sessions, if you want to go up and talk to him, just bring up Zelda or bring up the games, and he will, So anyway, back to you, PandaMare. What is the Zelda game?
I think it's mainly what people have grown up with and known the most. So for me, it would be Ocarina of Time, because that's the one I grew up playing continuously. That's the one I learned first how to get all the way through, all the secrets and the temples and all that stuff. The music is the most memorable for me and all that stuff. So
you played both of these with your Nani.
But yeah, I played both of them though. All the time.
Because I remember you played Ocarina. I never heard you playing Link to the Past. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I played that one. Like, I don't play it as often as I do Ocarina of Time. That one I go through yearly, like Cody Rhodes goes through.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's just me. It's the same with Banjo-Kazooie, too. I go through that one yearly.
Now, you'd be surprised with what, people who are very dedicated fans, they go through. Like, even the late, great Christopher Lee, big Lord of the Rings fan. He actually, when he was alive, he said he would yearly read all the books, The Hobbit and all 3 Lord of the Rings books every year.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it's once again, a lot of these SNES games, especially this one, you start it up, you hear that music, you just get the chills, even if you've never experienced it before. Yeah. It's one of those games where
And I'm kind of the same way too. Like every year, I try to go through the whole Resident Evil series, or at least the Resident Evil games that I got.
Yeah.
Main story, at least, besides spin-offs and 0 through 6, and so I know, when it comes to these games. But which one did you like overall, or a little bit more? The toughest, the $1 million question.
It's got to be Ocarina of Time. It's got to be that one for me.
Everyone's like, subscribe. I don't know what to do. No.
They're both good.
Yeah. One guy's in the comments, they're both
good.
One
guy's like really 4 good, swords.
Get out of here. Throws the Phantom.
That's just me personally, though. But I understand why people would say,
Mine just a computer game when they talk.
CDI.
That got awful one.
No, but for real, Ocarina of Time.
There's at least one shit title to every good franchise.
Yeah.
Boy.
What is one shit title in the Mario series that is just complete shit and utter shit? What do you guys?
Mario Galaxy? No.
Mario Party 10?
Well, there's some recent shit stain. I guess one of the learning games for Mario.
The learning.
Here you go. I had to get it in a box. Look at this box art. Mario's Time Machine. You think you're going to have a good time with this? It kind of looks fun. Look at Abe Lincoln over here. With the slavery and stuff. And stuff. Travel with Mario on a learning adventure through time. Does that really... It sounds pretty good, but then you look at these screenshots and, that doesn't look good. So, yeah.
Sounds dandy. And there you have it. 25 glorious and rich years and classic titles and even more if we didn't mention any. Sorry about that. And these were some of the ones that I found. Oh yeah, and Super Castlevania 4.
Oh, just look at the notes. Oh.
Retro Nick's like, because he's the big Castlevania guy. So anyway, Super Castlevania 4, shout out to you. I'm sorry, I don't play Castlevania. So. Oh God, unsubscribe. I'm sorry.
That's Konami though. Nobody cares anymore.
Anyway, shout out. What am I saying? Shout out. Happy 25 years to the Famicom / Super Nintendo / Super Nintendo Entertainment System / SNES / SNES and all the millions of other names it has and other countries and whatnot. And one of the greatest of all time. And before we go, me and Sega Sean would like to talk a little bit about a little incident that happened.
Yeah.
A little explanation. Well, the people of Game Strikers have, he already announced it, but to you non-members, if you want to make the announcement on the new Facebook page that we had recently, take it away, Sega Sean.
Okay, so Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook couldn't handle the zuck I was giving him with them dank maymays and stuff, so...
I warned you!
And Harambe,
You took it way too far.
Apparently, so... after my many repeated, apparently abusive posts,
I love it because I went on Messenger and it says here, this is gone because it's marked as abuse. And, I'm like, yeah, he's been abusing my
yeah, he's been abusing. Yeah, so my original profile got deleted and stuff. Everything gone. It was like it was dead. Did you guys miss me or no?
I got scared because I was the first one to discover it because I called you last night.
What if I was dead? What would you do?
Right off the map. That's why I kept calling you. And you weren't even answering. It was your voicemail. I'm like, pick up the phone.
What if I was dead, though? What would you do?
Oh, God.
Oh, God. So yeah, I was wiped away from the face of the internet for
it's like you just, your whole thing just like ceased to exist on Facebook.
I tried to get it back, and I couldn't. They were like, no.
All your posts on Game Strikers, even the cover photo, because that was affiliated with you because you designed it, gone.
Everything was gone.
Gone like the wind.
So if you're in Game Strikers and you've seen that, you might have seen my video explaining this already, but yeah, everything was gone that I had ever done, ever.
It's scary.
It is.
In an instant, in the snap of a finger.
Everything, all those years.
Because yesterday morning, everything was fine.
Yeah.
And I haven't checked it till like 10 hours later at night. Gone.
Yeah. Where is he?
Ooh.
I
had like this dramatic music in my head.
Why won't he answer?
The Adult Swim logo.
Anyway, yeah, so everything was gone and stuff, and after I made a new profile for myself and stuff, that lovely cover photo.
Yeah.
I love that picture. Haters will say it's Photoshop.
I was honestly going to message you saying, are you a bot? Because I didn't trust it.
Well, I know you're talking to PandaMare, too, or whatever.
I know. I was going to message you, are you a bot? And if you said yes just to fuck with me, I was going to say, they got him.
Yeah.
I was gonna rescue you. I was going to yell at them.
So anyway, bottom line, everything is it's in what do you call it? It's in construction right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to rebuild everything right now. But in the midst of this, even though it's,
But you weren't too affected.
I wasn't.
You call this a fresh start.
It is. To me, it is.
People would usually get super depressed about it because all those posts and all that hard work.
I just did not feel that much from it, but out of this, I'm like, you know what? Why don't I make the official page?
The memes will recover.
The memes will be back, though. Don't worry.
Then you'll be gone again.
Yeah, and then I come back again. So I made an official page for Super Game Strikers. Link in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's basically
and don't worry, like
there.
I said, the original page, Game Strikers, will still be there.
That will still be there.
That page will be about, it will still be posting the video game news and talk about current events, video game related, and stuff, while our new page, Super Game Strikers, will be about promoting our page and behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, you're going to see like pictures and stuff of us doing the podcast.
It's the YouTube channel stuff, while this is the video game news stuff at the other channel.
Yeah, and don't worry, our videos will still be posted in Game Strikers as well. It's just that this page will allow us to promote ourselves even more, because that was my big worry with Game Strikers. I'm like, you know what? Yes, we're getting attention. We just got like 74 or 75 members. That's fantastic, but I'm like, I want a little bit more. I want us to get out there more. Mm-hmm. So, and this is one of the best ways to do it. So there's two groups.
This might be a blessing in disguise.
I feel it is.
It's a great way to,
Yeah.
This fresh start in a way.
Mm-hmm. So link in the description. There's going to be a link to Game Strikers as well as Super Game Strikers. Don't worry, I will label them both. Don't get confused. But both pages, or Game Strikers, will still be there, no problem. It's not going to die.
And rest in peace, the old Kaiju Lu saying at the end.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little different now.
It's going to be a little different.
As I'm going to do right now.
Okay.
But don't worry, Super Game Strikers, like I said, like our new page, and the old page will still be there, but these will be two separate entities. So twice the fun. Twice the
if you can't get enough of our asses.
But on this explanatory note, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Super Game Strikers, the official YouTube channel of Game Strikers, and please be sure to like us on Super Game Strikers and Game Strikers on Facebook.
Well, that's quite a mouthful. Maybe we should.
Yeah, I gotta practice.
Maybe we should.
I'll just say Super Game. I'm gonna start saying. So you guys don't get confused, I'm going to start saying GS and SGS. because it sounds cool.
Right. They're like, I don't know the difference.
You know, I say SGS and I got the cap on backwards and the sunglasses.
Flaming shirt.
My flaming shirt, circa 2003.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, next week we'll practice, and but this is Kaiju Lou.
Sega Sean.
Please stay tuned for more future content to come, as well as tune in next week for Zone 25, our Season 2 finale. Stay tuned. It's gonna be big.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, folks. Bye.